Hi, it's Nancy welcoming you to Garden Scroll. At this hollyhock, I'm so excited because I had a disease on my hollyhocks. If you've been watching, you've seen some of it, but there's nothing on this one. It's healthy and beautiful. Oh, I hope it can stay that way. Remember when I went to see my daughter and I got so excited about seeing a dinosaur kale in her community gardens, and so I ordered some seed and I planted them in several different little pots, but none of them came up. But I thought, well, here's a little bare spot. I'm going to plant some seed here and see if they'll come up here, and they did. So I planted one of these little ones over here in this pot right here. So just look at this great big huge dinosaur kale baby. That maybe by this fall it could just be as big, almost, if not as big as this spike is that's in here now. And won't they look beautiful together? And all this little tiny stuff you see back here is alyssum coming up. And this little plant, I think I told you wrong once on the name of it, but I found that I did keep this, which I'm glad I did. But it is, what did I see? Oh yes, Sun Sparkler, and it's so beautiful. I think it literally looks like little green and purple roses. This one's pretty short, but that's because I clipped off several of them to put in other places, like in some of these pots. This one has it in it, and this one right across from it has it in it. I think they're going to be beautiful. Of course, I'm not real sure how tall they're going to get, but I think they'll still be short enough to look great even when they're mature, but we'll see how that goes. And I think that this one right here may be a mature plant of it, so it's only the tallest one, and there's probably about 8 inches tall, and it looks so good. This is one of the best decisions I made last year, was to, instead of planting seed in this little pot, to just go ahead and put some little succulent in there, because it just looks great and it's doing so much better. Of course, we've had wonderful rains this season. Had a little shower this morning. You can see it probably on the little foliage of the plant, but it has been a great spring for getting moisture. So I don't know if it'll always do that, but I think it will, because of course the sedums don't need just a whole lot of rain, but you can tell they're loving it too. And I already had it in this little pot too, and I knew that it was doing well in the pots. When I first put them in here, I didn't know that. And also I've noticed that I have not yet cleaned up this little pot. I need to do that as soon as I get an opportunity to do that, to fix its little cocoa liner and just put back what I have in it. It's great. It's doing fine there. It just needs renewed a bit. My friend Susie and I were talking when she was here about clematis and how we love them. Of course, they're so pretty. And she mentioned that her neighbor has one called Henry that is the biggest, most beautiful, bright white. And I said, I have one, but it hasn't bloomed yet. And actually, this is it right here. It never did bloom, and I'm not sure that it's even alive. So the last time I went to see her, she showed me a tiny little plant and said, I ordered this. Guess what it is? And so I guessed clematis, but I didn't think about it being the Henry. And she said, it's the Henry clematis. So I know she was excited about having it and everything, and then I said, I think mine died, and she said, here, this is yours. And so, you know, we went back and forth for quite some time. My husband says a ridiculous amount of time. But somehow we loved it. Somehow we just loved it, you know, just like when we were young when we met in the 6th grade, and it was fun. But she won. Only I won because she won because I got to take it home with me. So then I ordered her one. And I'm not sure if it'll come because this is the time of the season when you're never sure. Well, you're never sure if you'll get one when you order. You're liable to get a substitute. But we'll see what it will be. I hope it will be the exact plant I ordered. I hope it will still be healthy. I hope we'll still have weather cool enough and nice enough that it will go ahead and put its little root down and grow. And also I was reading about it, and they do bloom on old wood. So I did not trim all of mine down, but I did trim some of the top of it off, and that may have been where it would have bloomed had I left it alone. But I'm still actually hoping that mine will come up from the root. They have before, but they also have just died out once the tops of them go. So I'll just have to wait and see what will happen with it. But hopefully we'll both have one soon, or I might have two if my other one comes back. That would be fine with me. I'd have one for the front and one for the back. And of course, when I got really interested in clematis, I read a little bit about them, and they said don't stop with one. You can mix colors together on the same trellis or arbor or wherever you're putting them. And I thought, oh, that's a great idea to not stop with one. Look at this beautiful butterfly weed. It's called a weed. Isn't it so pretty today? And I see it has put down little babies along the way, but I really don't mind. And they say these can get out of hand, but because I had weed control fabric here at one time, most of it's gone, but there is still a little of it left, and it does keep things from dropping down and having more than you want of them. And just who would want to be without this beauty? And this is our little Henry clematis, and it looks like it's not much right now. Who would think that something so tiny could grow up to be so beautiful? But it will, should it be healthy and live, and I'm so hoping that it will do that. And I purchased a few more petunias to put in my strawberry pyramid because it's kind of sparse, and I'm thinking if I can get them going again. One time they just came back from seed and they looked so full and beautiful, so that's what I'm hoping to do again. And I had missed being able to get some of these little polka dot plants, and they had them on sale, so I lucked up there. Also, this is a annual hibiscus, or one that's not hardy in our area. So I went ahead and got it, and it's pink. Of course, it's not in bloom, so I didn't really see the shade of pink, but I think it'll be wonderful. And then this little plant I learned about from Jean E. on one of her posts, but this is a salvia, which reminds me of the black and blue salvia, only in a bright mauve fuchsia color. And let me see if I can find it. It may not have, oh yeah, it does have its little, it's called Rockin' Fuchsia Salvia. And I was sure it was perennial, but it's not perennial in our area, so I will have to bring this in or do something to try to save it, or just let it go and try to get another one. But I would love to save it. Isn't it pretty though? And I did get that one on sale too. It's time for all the sale plants to be on sale, and us to be able to quit all the planting. I'm ready to. I'm actually tired of the planting, and I see there's no little seeds coming up in this one yet, but they may. Hopefully they still will. And I did get a begonia. I was kind of wanting I was wanting a red, a yellow, and a pink, but I got the red, and that's the only one they had. And then I did get another little English ivy plant, variegated English ivy. I got one this year, but it didn't make it, and I don't really know why, but it didn't. But this is where it died out, right here, and it just needs something more there. And right behind it, my other little ivy is dying out. It may be trying to go again. If I get back there and trim the old dead stuff off, it might make it. And then my little Swedish ivy, variegated Swedish ivy, is doing great. These do great for me usually outside, but I have yet to learn how to keep one all through the winter and bring it back out. I've had to buy them each year. And these are, I don't know if you remember seeing these when I showed you the roses, but I did go ahead and get one of this, just the regular ivy. And I thought I got a maidenhair fern. I picked up a maidenhair fern and then set it back down, and then I thought, well, I do want that, so I picked up what I thought was my maidenhair fern, and it's actually a fluffy ruffle fern. So, but it's pretty, and we're just going to try it somewhere. But this little ivy I'll put over there in that little pot that I just showed to you. Also, one of my the places where I ordered earlier in the spring had given me a chance to buy some clematis on sale, so I did that. So I already had 2 new ones here, and actually they were shipped wonderfully, but whoever brought them to me turned them upside down, and so they were sitting there upside down. This one still had quite a bit of green. One of them had very little at all, so I'm hoping they'll both do well, though. They can just take off and go, and I hope they do. Of course, you know what else could happen, but we're going to hope that doesn't happen because we want them to be there, of course. How beautiful this will be if it gets to be healthy and live. And this is why another reason I went yesterday to get these obelisk. I found these obelisk, and I think they're going to be just perfect. And I have also one on the other side of the house, and these are in the front. I think they will really show off and be beautiful. Look at my husband's radishes. We're going to have to have radishes again before they get too big, that they won't be tender and sweet. This morning I am thanking God for sisters and friends, because you know I told you I fell the other day. I fell hard and I slipped, both feet slipped, so it was nothing I could do but go airborne and go down hard on the ground. Luckily it was softer had been as hard as concrete, but it was softer from our recent rain. So I got up and did fine, had no problem at all that whole day. We worked, we did shopping, we just had a good day, and I was very grateful to the Lord for letting me come right up out of that. But the next morning I took my medicine, and when I just leaned my head back to swallow my pills, it was very tender, and I'm like, ouch. So I went through the day with headaches that moved all the way, just kept moving around. I wanted to show you this other little trellis over here in the corner. But it just kept moving around from like a band around my head to one side or the other of my head, and then it just never really completely quit, and it would go down my spine and across my shoulders at different times, and it was never extremely painful at all, but it was very, I don't know, disconcerting to wonder, well, what's going on? Something just was a little off kilter, and I could definitely tell that for sure. But I did talk to my friend Susie, and she said that I will pray for you. And then I called my sister Kathy, and I said I need some professional nurse advice, and so she talked to me about it too, and I'm quite sure she prayed for me. And this morning I got up and took my medicine, and there was a teeny tiny, when I pulled my head back as far as I could get it, there still is a light pain there, but that's all. I haven't had any other symptoms of it. I haven't had a continuous headache. I haven't had a headache. And I can still tell from the very back of my neck that there is something. But just like what I knew when it happened, I could have broke my neck, and be totally out of commission. And I don't want to be out of commission. I want to do this garden and show it to you as long as I live. And then honestly, I want it to be left here for my family to see. My family after me that may never know me, and my family that I know and love me, they'll maybe want to look at it again. But I have got to go in. I have my sheets in the dryer, and I need to put those back on the bed. I definitely need to do some grocery shopping today, and I would like to be able to get back out here and have time to plant some of these little plants. So another busy day ahead, but what a joy to walk around for a little while in the mornings and just see what all is newly in bloom. The summer plants are coming on. Even my husband walked around with me a little bit today, and I think he enjoyed it almost as much as I did. I hope you're enjoying it too. I thought I would show you my little purple heart. I was pretty sure that it really would do this, but I wanted you to see it. I was thinking, well, there's supposed to be 3 of them, but there is 3 of them. These 2 are together in the one little pot. That green was kind of hidden behind the front pot, but there's 3, and they'll fill out even more, but they're looking great now. Oh, just look at all the little buds on this fuchsia. If it could get cool weather, what a beauty it would be. In this little pot, I did go ahead and put my other ivies in it, and I like having different kinds of ivy in this pot. Just looks so much better and fuller, and I'm hoping it will make it this time. I did remember to plant a few little zinnia seeds in this pot. Put more seed in my strawberry pot too, and I can see that there are a few of them coming up. So maybe even if they're not all filled out, we can sneak some out of the ones that have 2 in it to put in maybe one that doesn't have any, but I'm still hoping they'll come up and just fill the whole thing out. Look at this. We don't too often see this. Wow. I thought it's going to rain, so I'm going to go see my daughter. And we did get to do that, and we came back, and I thought, oh, we had a little over a ½ inch, so I bet we have probably 1.5 inches at least now. And yes, this is what we got. Isn't that wonderful? I don't see a castor bean seed up yet. I planted 3 and they didn't come up, so I planted 3 more and they're not yet up, and I may end up getting all 6 of them to come up someday. But I'm anxious for at least 1, and really 1 is all I really want. But I do want that 1. They're so pretty when they're big and those humongous leaves come out on them in the fall or late summer. These are widow's tears. I remember my mama telling me about this plant when I was just a little girl, and I was struck by that name. Why would they call it widow's tears? But you can see kind of those little droplets falling off the side there. But they're such a beautiful plant and come in many colors too. They can get out of hand. Be sure to put them where they have room to grow, or else put them where they don't have room to grow, like a pot where you can contain it so they don't just take over. Our little duplex tenants have new babies. Speaking of new babies, look at this. 2 of them actually sprouted. And what are they? They are the yellow esperanza. Most likely some of these others will follow suit. I certainly hope they do. This morning, as I was drinking coffee with my husband, we were sitting out here getting ready for our day, and I looked out here and I thought, you know, inspiration just comes from everywhere. It's all around you. But look at this. This is just a daylily, and then down below it are those spiky blue salvia. But isn't this beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful if the spiky blue was just all around it, and then this daylily right in the center of it? And then I started thinking, well, one thing I started thinking was I need to fix this little swan's backside. But you can't come outside without finding stuff you need to do. But then I thought, oh, how pretty this asparagus fern, if I can get it where you can see it, would be surrounded by this purple heart. Just the different textures, and then the colors playing off of each other, the green and the purple. It just caught my eye, and I thought how pretty that would be if you just put like this asparagus fern in the center, kind of like I have it over here, with something in the center and then all around it the other pots. But that would be pretty. Not that I'm planning on doing that this year, but maybe I'll keep that in mind for another time. So as you know, I came outside yesterday looking to see if my castor bean had sprouted, and they had not. But last night I came out here and looked again, and there was some little curly bent over stems coming up. And this morning I came out and looked again, and look at this. And this one is how they looked last night. So it's going to come popping right on up out of there. And I have, let me get it back in focus. I have this one, and there's one right here. So I actually now have 2 more than I actually want. But that's fine. You know, we always have to sow a little more seed than we want, so that we'll have a better chance of some of them coming up. But this is great. I'm so glad they're there. And it will probably be just amazing how fast they will grow. Definitely after a rain, they will take off and go. And today I'm doing a little bit more of the foam filler fixing, and I will definitely spray this with some green paint here in a little bit. But my husband sat in this chair yesterday and said, oh, that feels a little weak, like it might be fixing to break. And I looked closer, and it had cracked a little bit right on this side. So I did go ahead and put some more on this little chair too. I still think it's going to last quite a bit longer. I also brought out some spray glue, and everywhere I have this little cocoa liner, I went ahead and sprayed, like at the top where I have to cut it to fit. It's very susceptible to getting frayed off of there, or having little birds come and use it for their nesting materials. So I did spray some of this. I do this practically, if not every year, to save them a little bit longer. You can tell I've redone this one this spring, but I had not yet got out here and put the spray glue on them, so I was able to do that today. So I'm getting some of the main cleanup and replanting done for the season, and now I'm getting just some of the little piddly things done that also mean a lot to the upkeep of the garden. And I am so spoiled that it feels hot out here. I know it's not over being in the 80s. It's still in probably the lower 80s. I haven't looked at a temperature gauge just recently, but it feels hot to me, and I'm just so terribly spoiled. And guess what? We are in line again in the forecast for more rain this weekend. It could just keep that up for my part. But then I would never get a routine, and I've got to get some sort of a routine down so that I can take care of this and not just feel scattered all the time. I've been doing a lot and enjoying getting it done and getting to be with my family and friends and just the wonderful things of life that I know. They say that a person that likes to be alone usually does like gardening, and I do know that you can't do all that and keep this up. So, and this is my main calling right now, so I want to get it done and do it as well as I can. And I'm going to take this little container and redo it to where it looks like a little bird's nest and set a little bird in there. I don't know if I'll get that done today, but I hope to. But what I was going to show you over here is that seeds are coming up. Seeds are totally coming up everywhere, and I just love that. Well, as I say, everywhere, not exactly everywhere, but some of them are not doing what I hope they would. They may still come up, but they most likely won't now. But I will find a little plant. Somebody will want to sell one when I go to Walmart or just any place around that sells plants. I'll keep an eye out and see what I can find. If not, I'll plant some more seed, and zinnia seeds can be planted in July and still have time to come up and look beautiful and give quite a little showing before the end of the season. I'm ready for these little succulents to grow, because I'm used to this being just a little bit of a standout in the garden, and it will be. I still think it will be, even with just these little purple and green sedum and the little Angelonia sedum. That's still got a lot of color and a lot of beauty. They just need to grow up a bit. And these more are coming up in these little ones too. You can tell the bigger ones are the ones that came up the first time, and the smaller ones are the ones that came up this second time that I put seed in. So, but there's also some without it. Oh, as I say, without any, I'm looking way in the back, and there's one in this one. But there are still some of these that do not have anything in them. So I'll just wait a little bit, and if they don't come up and I don't have some more of the color, I will take some of them out that have more than one and put it down here in the ones that don't have any, and hopefully we'll still get one that's just totally pink and yellow in this little 3-tiered pot. This little red yarrow is just now coming up, or just now blooming, but this over here on the other side is going away for the season, turning its lighter color. There's still a little bit of red in there. And this needs dividing. I should have divided it last fall, but I didn't. And now I was thinking it's probably too late to divide it now and give all the little divisions a chance to do well, because it's just really too hot to do it at this moment. But I'm thinking if we get that rain this weekend and it gets cooler for a little while, I'll come out here, dig this up, divide it, and have this in several more places next year. And I need to trim my little wisteria. It's sending out some wayward little stems that are going everywhere. So I want to trim that back at some point. Maybe today. I will wait now. It's getting just pretty hot out here. I'm going to have to go look at the temperature gauge and see what it says. Also, just a little bit ago, I went ahead and tied this. This is one of the tall tree lilies, and it was hanging way out in my pathway. So I did tie it up and pull it over toward this little, this is an old umbrella clothesline that I'm using for a trellis, and I really like it. It's got the pretty Major Wheeler honeysuckle on it. I think it even has one blooming here for you just to show you what it looks like. And it is very pretty. But it looks so much better now that this little lily is out of the path and doing good. As a matter of fact, or looking good. Matter of fact, I also tied this one up because it was just laid out there everywhere down in the St. John's wort bush. And over in this little false indigo yellow bush. When it blooms, it's yellow. And so I cleaned that. I not cleaned it up, but it looks cleaned up because I tied it up where it's neater. And then this one right here also tied it up into a little bundle and put it around that pole, that little stake. So I think it looks better. It feels good when you think about all these things you need to do. That doesn't feel good, but when you get it done, you have that good feeling. That's what I like. And lilies are in bloom. They're started. The day lilies are beginning to bloom. I see one off and on each day when I come out here. And they'll continue on. I'll get as many of them as I can for you so you can see them in all their glory. And the pots are filling out. Some of them, not all. This one right down here is not very full, but it could still take off and go. That little petunia could cover everything, or it could sit there and not get any bigger. But the back part of it is really looking good with the angelonia and the Penta. Of course, the Shasta daisies are more in bloom than they were the last time I showed you. I think I just had one over there, maybe two, but now they're just beginning to bloom. With all the rain that we've had, which is probably just normal for other people, but we have been in a drought, so it's just so refreshing and so wonderful, and so spoiling. It spoils me, but I like it. I love it. You know, I want some more of it. And as I was showing you the daisies, you probably noticed some of the daylilies. This is one. Another, and right here beside it is another. That little cone flower that I showed you, it did look like this, but now this is it. It's already filled out and looking good, and we'll probably continue to get even more fuller and look even better. I love the tops of them when they just glow, when the sun catches them just right and they get that mature look on them, and they're actually kind of outshine the petals even. And I did get my little roses planted. They came in and I got them planted. I'm not sure about them, but I hope they will make it, because you know I killed out the others, or tried to, and they're still green, and I just have them right there beside it. I don't know if they'll go ahead and die, or if I have to spray them again. I'm hoping it does not affect these little ones in an adverse way, though. I hope these will take off and go. And I did get 3 to put on these 3 end trellises. So in the future, or future years, when I show you over here, we should have not only just all the old red roses growing up here, but hopefully we will have some different colors. This one actually is a white rose. The one on the end there is or not the very end. I didn't put one there. I'm not sure if it gets enough sun, so I just left a clematis there, because it will get sun in at the top part of it where it will bloom, and the bottom part likes to be shaded, so I think it will do well there. And then on this one I put a yellow rose. This is the white again, and then right here on this one is a mauve purple rose, so I'm hoping they will come on out and just look gorgeous. And my little Joseph's coat rose put on some bloom. It didn't look so good this year, but that's because it's new and it's just beginning its beauty. And as I'm looking out over here at this little plot, I'm beginning to think it already looks somewhat like what I had it in my imagination, or in my vision for it, when I put the yellow and pink here. And it is beginning to fill out, and I think it's going to do even better, and it looks good right now. And I'm quite tired of pulling up maple trees and redbud trees, but it has to be done. And I'm hoping that I get most all, if not all of them, before they get too big. Look, these are going away for right now. They'll probably pop back out at some point. At least when it gets cool in the fall, they'll probably put on another little showing. But I'm feeling like my friend Susie said when I went to see her, and she said I don't have very much blooming. Well, I think she said I don't have anything else blooming but that little strawberry pot that I put the impatiens in, but she did have a lot blooming. And I know there's still quite a few things blooming, like this beautiful daylily over here, lighting up this side of the garden. But I do miss my roses. They're all gone, and the few that were left that I did not trim off when I trimmed most all of them off need to be trimmed off now. And this is my little knockout rose, red knockout rose, and I miss it. I knew I would, but the color is gone now, so when you look out, mostly you just see green. It always makes me think of my cousin. Actually would be my second cousin, but she said my favorite color is green. And I think if you look around, you'll realize it's God's favorite color too. And this is another little decor piece that I fixed with the foam filler, and I just filled the top part of it with foam and put a little hook on there where I will tie it up on a little shepherd's hook with some fishing line. It's all dirty. I should paint it, but I'm not planning on doing that at this time, but maybe sometime. But I'll probably just put it back out in the garden. I did go ahead and change out this little pot. As I planted my little miniature roses, I knew I wanted one here, and they looked terrible after a rain. I hate to show them to you because they were so pretty. You can kind of tell by that bottom one. But I thought, well, if I'm going to plant it in there and try to hope that it's going to survive the winter there, I'm going to put it in a new pot, make sure it has a good drain hole, and I just transplanted everything from the other pot into this one and put that little rose back there, which is what I had at one time. I did have a little yellow rose there. It was so pretty, so I'm hoping that it will be beautiful again. This morning I was looking at my just looking out here at the garden, and I noticed that this, if you'll look all around it, well, right here, right around this part right here, you're going to see that it has little tiny baby chicks all around the circle. That is so pretty to me, and I think it's going to be pretty when they come out and then hang over. I'm just thinking it's going to do wonderfully, and hopefully it'll come back for me. I've never had them to come back. I've had one or two of them to come back, and then they died after they came back, so they just never got to looking good. But anyway, I'm hoping again. And I just looked in this pot because I had a little hosta there that was, I don't remember if it was called silly string or curly fries, but it was just a beautiful little hosta. And it's gone. There's nothing there now. So I know what happened to it. The same thing that happened behind this little girl in that pot back there. It's snails. Snails have taken them out. And I've been trying to keep it sprayed, but evidently not well enough. So, oh, I hate that. I hate those old snails. At least I hate them in the garden taking out my plants. My granddaughter said they are having trouble with earwigs, I believe is the name of it. And oh my goodness, my husband's brother said they were too. And I'm hearing on the news there's an infestation of them because of the recent rains. So far I haven't seen those, but heaven knows I have enough problems with snails and roly-polies. And I put a little piece of a tree ring right here, hoping that if I ever get right in this spot in exact the right way I was before and took off flying, that this one will prevent that from happening. Remember these scraggly little things that I had kept in the window? I put them in this. They were like a little thin stem with a tiny bit of foliage, not much at all. But I knew they could look like this. They are beginning to fill out and look so pretty. This is the strawberry drop coleus, the little trailing strawberry drop. So I did decide, yes, I will go ahead and fix my little bird's nest. And she just looks like she's liking it there, sitting on a nest. Maybe they're even filled with eggs. And I may even try to do this today, but not until after I have something to eat. And it looks like the temperature in the shade is 88 or 89, so it's hot and it's time to go in and take a break. Ta-da! Another job well done. Please be sure to like and to subscribe to the channel.